Okay, research proposals have to have an element of novelty. Now, let's unpack what novelty means. But novelty doesn't necessarily mean brand new. Maybe you've got it, yes. This quote in your notes I'm referring to now. So novelty doesn't necessarily mean brand new, never been studied before. Okay, it's a lot more subtle than that. So reading that quote, you'll see what you can do is apply new thinking to an old problem, an old question. You can apply a new technique. You can apply different techniques. You can combine things in a different way. You can use new material to study an old problem. All of those sort of things help you create something that is novel. So it doesn't have to be brand new, never been seen before. If you battle with being creative, coming up with those ideas. Now, I'm sure many of you don't battle with that, but if you, like me, and you battle with that, these little pointers might help. So first of all, read. Read everything. Read. That's where ideas are stored. And it's not about plagiarizing those ideas, but being triggered by ideas. You know, ideas develop. For example, when you brainstorm, I say something ridiculous, and that triggers a thought in your mind. And you say something, and somebody else gets a brand new idea. That's how ideas grow. I mean, you don't just sit down and think, boom, new idea. It just doesn't work like that. So read. One thing you can do is check patents. Now, you might think, patents got nothing to do with me. But be a bit cautious. You can find a lot of things in patents. Just remember the way the patenting world works. To have a patent which protects your knowledge, you have to declare all the knowledge. You cannot get a patent without declaring the knowledge. So you might find some ideas in the patent literature which can be searched very easily as well. Ask 20 questions on the topic. Practice on everyday things like a pencil. Try that just for yourself for a moment. Ask yourself 20 questions about the pen in your hand. And you'll find that you'll run out of questions after 2 or 3. But with practice, you'll be able to go on and on and on. So things like, you know, what color is it? How does it work? Where did I find it? Have I had it for a long time? Generate 20 questions. If you keep on asking questions, you then start to get to fresh thoughts. So I was mentored by a person at the NRF when I was at the NRF about managing peer review. You know, peer review is this adjudication of grant proposals, for example. And often what you have to do, be on the lookout when you're chairing a panel meeting, is look out that one person's not dominating that meeting and their ideas are dominating other people's ideas. And so when somebody says something bold, like, I think this is a nonsense proposal, then you don't say, oh, no, we can't say that. You just ask them a question, why do you say that? And then they come up with a reason. And what, as a good chair, you would do, after they've given you a reason, you would say, but why do you say that? And they would give you more reason. And then you say again, why did you say that? And you ask that question in that setting 5 times, and you'll probably get to the real reason why they're saying that. And hopefully it's not a bias or something at that stage. Questioning triggers new ideas. But another way is visiting seminars organized by disciplines other than yours. One of the fantastic things about working at a university or studying at a university is it's so diverse. And I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the knowledge. Where does the word university come from? Universal, all knowledge. So that's true. All types of knowledge are present in a university. So I encourage you to go and listen to talks, lectures, seminars, whatever, guest lectures in other disciplines. Go and see how the physicists talk about things. Go and see how the psychologists talk about things. Go and listen to the nurses talking about things. And you'll get a different aspect of the world, and it'll trigger thoughts in your own head. Make the use of that diversity. Another thing to do is verbalize your thoughts and ideas. I don't know where you do your thinking, okay? Do you get ideas in the middle of the night? Do you wake up with ideas in your head? Do you write them down? I do that a lot, and they're brilliant ideas. But when I go and speak to people about them, then I often realize that they're maybe not quite what I thought, at 2 o'clock in the morning. But verbalize your ideas, share your ideas, bounce them off people, and they often stimulate other thoughts. And then speak to different people. Get other people's ideas. And don't be hesitant about sharing your ideas. We talked about being confident. So don't feel ashamed of sharing your ideas, those questions. Even if you're a master student and you're just early on in the stage, your ideas, we heard from the comment at the back there, it's often the undergrads that come up with the best ideas because they haven't been drilled into thinking a certain way. So be confident with your ideas and bounce them off other people. If you thought that plate tectonics, if continents moved around before we had evidence, it's difficult sometimes to share those ideas, but start talking about these ideas. Does that make sense? Now, that little picture there, I don't know if it's very clear. It's a cone. Now, bear in mind, this is psychology a la Rob Drennan, and I know nothing about psychology, so don't take it too hard. But I do think that there is some sense. Imagine we've got a pile of sand on this table, and it's in the form of a cone. And I take a bottle of water, and I pour water on the apex of that cone. And it's fairly soft sand. Where is that water going to run? It's going to make little rivulets, little channels all down the cone, and it's going to run down. Now I take another bottle of water, and I pour it on the exact same spot. Where is that water going to run down? I think you might agree with me, it's going to run down those little rivulets, yes? It's not going to make fresh ones, so long as I pour it in the same spot. That's, I believe, how our thinking works. We're disciplined and we have thoughts and we follow a way of thinking and whatnot, and ultimately we get constrained by that thinking, and we think within this constraint. And sometimes to come up with creative and different ways, you've got to break out of that mold. And these are some ways of breaking out that mold, especially this one, talking to people from other disciplines. How do they think about problems? Okay, and that will trigger ideas.